Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. In this episode, we're going to discuss current events taking place in and around Taiwan. So we've received reports that are being robustly reported on mainstream media that a very large force of Chinese military aircraft entered the Taiwanese aircraft air defense identification zone, and that's usually an area that a nation state sets as a more or less as an air defense boundary around the borders of said nation. So in this case, it's reported that there were two flights or two incursions that occurred very close to each other. That in both of these forces that entered Taiwanese the aircraft air defense identification zone were about 40 aircraft, all of which were warplanes. The first batch included approximately 18 J-16 fighter bombers. These are basically Su-30s with more of a ground attack role with Chinese avionics. And then supporting those 18 J-16s were an additional 4 Su-30s, more of a air-to-air intercept capability. And that intrusion occurred way down here. And this island is the Taiwan Islands. Again, this island is about 200 plus miles, 400 or so kilometers from Taiwan proper. So again, when they say that the Chinese aircraft are entering the Taiwan air defense exclusion zone, don't think of it as these aircraft are actually getting close to the main island of Taiwan, because that's simply not the case. What they're actually doing is harassing this island way down here, far away from the main island of Taiwan. And I'll discuss why they're probably doing this and why they're not doing this to the main island of Taiwan. But the second flight of aircraft, again, approximately about 20 aircraft, and that second one as well consisted of about 10 J-16s and 2 H-6 aircraft as well. And those H-6s are obviously nuclear capable bombers. That's how the media reports it. In all likelihood, those platforms will be utilized to launch cruise missiles. And again, my mistake. It was the second batch, which flew in between the Philippines and Taiwan, were a lesser force of about 12 to 13 aircraft. But again, the total force that occurred within 24 hours was about 40 aircraft that were conducting operations in the vicinity of the Taiwan Islands and all the way down south of Taiwan, in between the Philippines, the Philippine Islands, and Taiwan proper. So, could the if there is some sort of military action by the Chinese, what could Taiwan do to prevent said activity if that activity is focused on the Taiwan Islands? Well, there's not a lot that they could do, quite frankly. The Taiwan Islands are basically uninhabited. The only thing that exists on the island is military and scientific research, and scientific research and a military outpost on the island. And here's the island. You can go in and you can see that it's a military facility. There could be as many as 500 military personnel, based on the island. Its defense is operated by the Taiwan Coast Guard, and occasionally Taiwan Marines Republic of China Marines are based on the Pratas Islands as well. In terms of defensive capability, there is reportedly to be 40 millimeter anti-aircraft guns. There is 120 millimeter mortar unit based on the island. There is reportedly some anti-tank rockets that have been shipped to the island for use by the forces defending the island. But outside of that, there also may be some anti-aircraft missiles as well based on the island. But the ability for the Pratas Islands to defend itself outside of the help of receiving direct assistance from the Taiwanese Navy would be very little. It would not take a lot of effort for China to launch some sort of amphibious operation and seize the Pratas Islands. Again, it's many miles away from Taiwan proper, not well defended, and not a lot of capability on the island itself. Now, with that being said, the Taiwan fully understands that if there was a military operation to seize the Pratas Islands, Taiwan would have to do something. They could not, for political reasons, just not do anything and allow China to seize the Pratas Islands. There would be some sort of possible engagement, and if not, that would be a sign that Taiwan is acquiescing to the Chinese threat. And it is a threat. Now, why are not the Chinese launching operations towards the main island of Taiwan? Well, it's a very good question, and the answer is there's simply a lot more assets that the Chinese fear on the main island of Taiwan. You have a very robust and significant air defense system. You have aircraft. You have F-16s, Mirage 2000s that are always on standby and are in the air at moment's notice on any encroachment by China. And obviously, the Patriot air defense system is on the island, operated by Taiwan, as is other air defense systems that are of domestic builds that are very capable. Taiwan is a very technologically advanced nation, and it produces some very advanced systems. And that is one reason why you do not see the encroachment that you do in other areas that Taiwan owns. The Chinese simply fear getting very close to the island of Taiwan, and sending 20, 30, 40 aircraft towards Taiwan is a very overt threat that could be responded to in a very harsh manner by Taiwan. The nation of Taiwan will shoot at Chinese aircraft if they approach the island of Taiwan proper, without a doubt. And that is probably why the Chinese avoid these displays of force near the main island of Taiwan. And could they be looking to launch an operation to seize islands such as the Pratas Islands? Possibly. It would in the media initially said military operation would look like the Chinese are attacking the main island of Taiwan, which is completely ridiculous. That is not going to happen. That capability to do that, China does not have that capability right now. There's a very good chance they would lose, and I've talked about that in other videos. Feel free to go back and watch those. But any attack on the Pratas Islands would almost have the same political cost as an attack against Taiwan. It would be portrayed as an attack on Taiwan, which it is. It is an attack on Taiwan, but it's, again, it's a little different. Obviously, it's not the main island. It's these outlying islands that would first fall to Chinese aggression, and that would be part of the strategy. I believe that we would not see an actual invasion of Taiwan per se. I do not think the Chinese have the capability to conduct such an operation. I do think the Chinese could bombard Taiwan with a lot of ballistic missiles, a lot of accurate ballistic missiles. They could also try and quarantine the island and prevent outside supplies from getting in, and reduce trade, and basically have a military embargo on the island. But obviously that would also cost the Chinese as well, because the Republic of China, Taiwan, has the ability to strike China. They have the missile capability to launch operations, in some cases, quite possibly deep into China with its with its own ballistic missile and cruise missile capability. So it would be a very costly conflict that even the Chinese are unsure that they could win at this time. But we continue to see these encroachments by the Chinese on Taiwan, and we'll probably continue to see it. We're seeing a major a buildup in terms of monies being utilized to build up the Taiwan military. Another $8 billion is being poured into the defense establishment of Taiwan. And again, Taiwan, its military capabilities are rather significant, and especially when it comes to being able to prevent an invasion of the main island. But we'll continue to monitor the situation and report as events warrant. Have a good day, everyone.